we can maybe get him to talk a little bit more about what happened to him, and then we'll probably head back, I think, because we've completed about what we're doing.
Yeah. Where was the... Oh, yeah, sense mode. Yeah, so that was fine. Yep, so you sense that he was not telling the truth. He was... he knows far more about what happened to him than... Yep. So you go back to him, and he's medicated now, and he's far calmer, but he's still sore and groggy.
Is that a little bit better? Does that feel a little bit better?
Oh, yeah. That's so much better.
It's looking better. I know you were bleeding a little bit earlier, but you're looking okay now.
Oh, yeah, the doctor comes over and they treat that. After prior to you having that conversation, they come over and you call them over and they do their thing and stabilise the bleeding. So, which had already helped with the pressure anyway, but they reinforce the dressing. Yeah. They do that, like you don't have to roll anything or anything. So they hey kitty cat. The patient's like, yeah, I'm sorry I yelled at you earlier. I'm so sore and angry at the moment.
You must be really frustrated. You got jumped out of nowhere. Are you sure you didn't see anybody?
I didn't do anything wrong. I was walking home. I'd been out. It was like midnight, and I'd been playing cards at Billy's place.
You must have gotten caught under the curfew. Is that right?
No, I don't know. Yeah, but normally with the curfew, they just like tell you, they ask you where you're going, and they tell you to go home, or they tell you to go to a friend's place and get off the street. And if you argue with them, they arrest you until morning. These guys, man, they pushed me into a fucking alleyway, and they beat the fuck out of me. And when they were done, they said, "That's for the Alamos, you prick. You fucking breeder." And they walked off.
He said, they said it was for the who?
He said, I don't know, but they called me a fucking breeder. And they called me a fucking tusk face. And they beat the fuck out of me. And if it wasn't for the guy, the morning guards, they found me in the alleyway. Because I was, and they stood on my fucking leg, man. They fucking curb stomped my leg. Oh, fuck. And he dozes off.
That sounds awful.
He doesn't respond. He's
while the doctor's over there too, I'm gonna pan over to the doctor with my camera and say, "Do you get a lot of patients that are coming in with this kind of injury?"
Doctor doesn't. The doctor looks away and goes about his business.
Oh, that's perfect.
This footage.
This footage, though. This footage.
Cut.
Are you writing this down, man?
He either hears you and doesn't respond, or didn't hear you over the noise of the room.
All right.
Either or. And Nancy, the nurse who likes trolls, comes over to you guys and she sort of blinks and winks at. And she's not a high charisma orcish nurse. She's just an average, like, charisma 3 orc.
I'm just going to turn to John, just turn my back on her, and I'm just going to, like, wiggle my eyebrows at him.
Hey, Shiloh, how do you respond to that?
Yeah, I'll smile.
And she walks over and she says, "Oh, I'm sorry to have to ask you both to leave," but she really means John. I'm sorry to have to ask you to leave, but visiting hours are over, guys. But you can always visit anytime you like. You can always swing past and say hello. It was really helpful having you here today. She grins at
Thank you for having us. I'm gonna go over here and take a look at my camera, and I just walk away, leave John right there.
Yeah, so where are you gonna be later?
I'll meet you at the door. I've got to go over this footage.
Yeah, I'm not talking to you.
So she's like, "Oh, I'll and she giggles. She's a little bit embarrassed. She's probably not used to being this forward, but a troll giving meds and being a nurse-ish type role kind of ticks her boat. It floats her boat. So she's like, "Oh, I'll probably be coming around to Lucy's place later tonight. Usually on Mondays we have like a feed. We have like a gathering of the community, and we eat and we talk and we sing songs and make merry. So I'll be there later probably, maybe."
You port in the storm?
She and she sort of smiles a little bit nervously, and then she goes and starts attending to a patient. And that's sort of it. So you get the vibe that it's time to wander home, back to Lucy's.
Nice.
Jake the Muss, who went off and did a couple of things and had a couple of beers, has come back.
Yeah.
Figuring
I'm just
that
going to
you-
have a big old shit-eating grin when John comes back.
I'm going to a party.
And I will now cut to the power supply group. You are now the power supply task force.
Hey. Love being
So,
power
we
supply
had-
task force.
We pulled the power supply out of a different model of deck, and we're now trying to fit it to Propellerhead's deck and see if it's working. Where are the decks? Where's the decks? Just looking. Anyone know off the top of their head where the decks are in the rulebook?
200 and...
Gear listing. Fire? No, not a gun. We don't want a gun. Cyber decks. 439. Okay, so our friend Propellerhead has a Hermes chariot. You notice that it's fairly, like the branding and the logo is fairly worn, and it's quite yellowed from various flavours of smoke and soot from being in the underground. But he does have a Hermes chariot, as battered and bruised as it is. And you notice that you've taken the power supply out of a microdeck Summit, and they seem to be compatible as far as voltage goes, although it's a little bit off amplitude-wise. So you have a decision to make about whether to plug it in, and Propellerhead's pretty keen on that. Meanwhile, Bishop, you found the... Jacket, you found the... Oh, no, sorry, Bishop, yeah, right. I should write these things down when we switch. Bishop, Bishop, you found drone spare parts and the toolkit, and you've also found... Propellerhead's like, oh, yeah, cool. And he shows you the fly spies. One of them actually looks like it's like a quadro drone, like one of those roto things, with the 4 blades that you could mount like a little gun off. There's a name for those, but so that's where we're at.
The MCT Nissan Rotodrone.
Like a roto drone.
You can use your active skill as a knowledge skill, right?
Yep, you take a negative to it. What are you trying to find out, or what are you?
I'm
thinking of rolling?
basically gonna use my pilot aircraft and see what's wrong with it, like physically, because pilot aircraft.
Oh yeah, sure. Okay, so with the roto drone, there's one roto drone and one fly spy. With the roto drone, it's got a broken blade. You don't need to roll for that. You can see that it's got a broken blade, and you think, yeah, it wouldn't fly with that. And the fly spy is missing an arm, like the arm that allows it to fly, which I assume is like a fly's wings. It's missing a wing, like someone's torn them off, like someone's torturing flies because they're sick.
All right. Can I plug it into my comlink and try see if it still actually works?
Totally.
And it's just
Absolutely.
not missing parts.
Yeah, totally. So what are you plugging into?
My ratings, like my
Oh.
best comlink.
Yeah, that's cool. So what are you working on first?
It's the fly spy because I have
Yep.
more experience with the fly spy.
Yeah, sure. So you get a universal data cable. You can find those. You found a couple of those when you're going through the boxes, and you probably put them to one side because they're useful. And you actually also found a data tap as well. There was a spare data tap in one of the boxes.
I'll pass that to Jacket.
Yeah, that's mine.
All right.
Yep, just give you that. You found that in the boxes. So you plug into the fly spy and initialize the connection, and it boots. And it takes some time, and then on the comlink screen or in AR, however you're doing it, you receive a diagnostic report, like the post routine, and it
Right.
tells you missing right arm, please consult manufacturer, missing gyrojet stabilizer, and it's missing. It's got all these little warnings about damage and needs calibration, and it also says that it also gives you a light saying battery life exceeded, nominal charge below threshold, please contact manufacturer. And you kind of interpret that to mean that the battery is starting to run down and it's not holding as much charge as it used to. So it might only, the fly spy, even if you get it working, it'll only be useful in small bursts. Like you might get 50 minutes of use out of it at once.
All right,
But,
I'll print all of that in an ARO or whatever, an AR paper thingy, like, and slide it aside because I can't really fix it. I'll just know what's wrong with it.
perfect. So the roto
Then,
drone. Oh, go ahead.
no, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so you plug into the rotor drone, and the rotor drone also boots. However, it asks you for user credentials. It asks you for like an operator password. And you're like, I haven't got that.
I'm gonna ask, what's his face? I forgot his name already.
Jacket?
Propeller.
Or
No,
propeller?
Propeller. Hey, can you? Is there a do you know the password for this drone? It's asking me confirmation.
And he looks over. He's like, no idea. We, as I said, or as he said, he's like, as I said, man, we scavenge a lot of stuff. So, yeah, you probably want to make sure that thing's not trying to broadcast or connect to any networks. I know there's a lot of noise in here, and you power it down in response. Like, it's fine.
Alrighty.
It didn't boot. It sort of fired up, and then to do anything further, you'd need to provide credentials. So let's look at the cyber deck. So you've got the power supply in hand there, Jacket, and Propeller Head's like, okay, let's just do this. Like, he looks over at Bishop and he says, well, if I can get this working, I can probably break into I could probably I could probably break into it. You know.
Alrighty.
So do you guys can I help you try to? He's like, can I try to help you put the power supply back in?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, cool. So roll hardware for me, and Propeller Head will assist as well.
Ooh, not a good roll. I'm gonna
It's all
edge that.
Bishop. That's all right. So because he's going to assist you as well. Propeller Head will assist you.
Okay.
So just see what he rolls first. So between yourself and Propeller Head, you work out where to plug the charger in, the power supply in, the polarities. You know, you put it back in properly. You go to touch an exposed part of the board without having grounded yourself, and Propeller Head like, no, don't do that, and grabs your hand and pulls it back. So together, you guys work out. You guys are able to work out the method of putting the power supply back in, and you put the case back on, and you plug it back into power, and Propeller Head's like, wait, no, I want to push the button. I want to push the button. And so he puts a data tap, a cable he plugs into it, and he presses the power button, and you hear it go bloop, 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 and it fires up, and all the fans start working, and he's like, he stares into space for a little bit because he's connected directly. He's got he's got Trodes or a data jack, one of the two, and it's like, it looks like it's working, man. It looks like it's working. Yeah, my deck's fixed. This is great. I can't believe this. Thank you very much. And he's like really excited. Like he's so excited he could hug you.
No problem, man.
And it's like it's booting up, and he's like, thank you, thank you, thank you. And then there's a moment where he pauses, and what he's probably doing, he's probably moving like all his porn. You know, he's probably moving that into hidden folders in case one of you decide to try to use the deck. So you know, like he's just like he spends a little bit of like a couple of seconds, like 30 seconds a minute, just playing around with things in the matrix and moving things from local storage and, you know, making it look clean. He then wanders over to the roto drone, and he plugs the cyber deck into that because it's safer to do things widely. You know, it's less noise. So he rolls over and he's like, okay, watch this. And so what he does is he does some matrix